Hello, I'm Sharon.
And I'm Keith.
Welcome to Reels Across the World. So today we're going to talk through our experience of northern Patagonia, which was Bariloche in Argentina. We had a really lovely time. It's more famous for being the Lake District because it has lots and lots of lakes. We did a few things that we'll explain along the way. We landed and we took a hire car. We had already pre-booked it on booking.com along with the accommodation because it's quite busy that time of year. But absolutely amazing scenery. We probably liked it more than we expected to in lots of ways.
Yeah, I think so.
Weather was really nice.
Definitely would advise getting a car though, because I think for lots of Bariloche it's very easy to get a car. We booked it with Fit Car Hire. They're really easy, really good. But I think it's very hard to enjoy Bariloche or get to the most out of Bariloche without a car.
Yeah, I think it was £100 and something and we were there for 3 nights. But we factored that in, so we ended up booking a hotel that was an HTL one, which we also had in Buenos Aires, but it had just such charm, a little bit dated, a little bit 40 Towers like. But I think we couldn't help loving it. The staff was just so lovely, which kind of made up for it. We knew what we were getting. We knew it was going to be dated.
It's a great location, fabulous views.
Very Swiss looking, and it had a big car park, which is kind of what we bought it for, and we had a room across from the lake. It was a tiny bit noisy, but we'd requested the room with the lake view, and so we had to put up with the fact that the road was there. But even so, the room was small, cosy.
It's great.
But when you've got really friendly staff, it makes up for it, and the breakfasts were really good and really healthy, which we didn't really expect. So we loved.
So we'll put a link in for the hotel. Cool. Yeah, it's great. We arrived there about
11 o'clock, so we couldn't check in. Our rooms wasn't ready because I think we probably only have one cleaner.
We dropped off the bags and we drove off.
Yeah, Gustav, I think, was the receptionist there, spoke really good English, and he suggested that we do the Cerro Chico.
Yep, Cerro Chico. And we also did on the way, so the Cerro Chico starts at the Chow Chow Hotel, which is basically the big posh hotel. So we snuck in and had a little look at how the other half live.
To be fair, we could have afforded it, but not the car. So we went with charm, and 40 Towers was fun.
Yeah, it was good. So we went in there, and then we set off on the Cerro Chico, which is like a little scenic route, which actually a lot of people do on a bike. So it's sort of
which would have been fun to do, but having the price of the car already, it was a bit. Yeah, it was a lot quicker.
Along the way, we stopped at the Colonia Suiza, which is a charming little village, sort of, I presume, sort of European community there, and Swiss community, and lots of food stalls and craft markets. So we had a little stop there, and then carried on the Cerro Chico, which was, beautiful views and a lovely way to introduce yourself to Bariloche and the lakes. And on the way back, we stopped at a place called, it was like a fast food place by a supermarket called Punto Empanada, which had vegan empanadas. So we bought a couple of those.
Empanadas along our route. There'll be a lot of empanadas.
So we bought those, had those on the beach, and then
watched the sun sort of setting a little bit. It was nice. Then obviously we went back into our hotel. Yeah,
and the next day we
kind of had vague plans, and it turned out to be such a fabulous day. I sometimes like it when it's like, we could do this, we could do that, and see what happens. But we had such a fun day.
Yeah, it was great. We first went up to Catedral Montaña.
It's the Sierra ski resort, really, wasn't it?
So it was
Sierra.
Yeah, Sierra. So it was the road alone was worth the trip, but we got to the ski lift, and we just decided it just wasn't worth.
Yeah, they're cable cars, and although it looked quite pretty, because it was obviously summer, we decided not to do that one. We were saving ourselves for another one.
And also the time it would have taken. So we just decided not to do that. And what we did was we just drove back down, admiring the views, back into Bariloche.
Yeah, we just parked the car quite close to Bariloche, but easily walkable. It's like a 15-minute walk, so you can still park for free. We worked out from the day before pretty much where you could park, or you actually went for a run, didn't you, along the lakes first thing in the morning. So we knew where we could still park for free.
So a little bit further out of town from the Havanna Chocolate Museum, which we'll talk about in a second.
Just before the Havanna Chocolate Museum.
There's free parking, pretty easy, and then look across a short walk into town basically. So we parked there, walked in, got to the town hall, had a look around. There's
tourist
a very
information, gave us a map, which really
beautiful
helped.
stuff. We
always top tip goes to tourist information if you can find one.
Yeah, it was great.
Got our bearings, and then just took in the sights really. It's very Swiss, very ornate. It was a few nice museums which we didn't actually get into in the end, but
there's lots of stalls though, little market stalls and artisan shops.
And the huge Argentinian flag where they like to know, so you know you're pretty central when you see one of those.
Yeah. And there's the Bariloche sign overlooking the lake, so we did a few photos, touristy photos there. And then we walked along the high street looking at the chocolate shops. Had a lot of time spent going in and out of famous chocolate shops, which is an
including this one with the ice rink.
Absolutely must when you're in Bariloche. And then we thought we'd go and do the chairlift experience. So we went to Cerro Viejo, I think it's called.
Yeah. It wasn't that very expensive at all to do the chairlift one, and it was fun.
Literally on the walk.
I'm not a height person.
So it's literally a very short walk out of from the centre of town,
next to the Havanna Chocolate Museum, which is our next recommendation.
Yeah. So we went to do the chairlift. There were fantastic views from the top, but even better than that, you tobogganed back down.
Yeah, we hadn't heard that before. We were like, toboggan down? Really? Do I want to toboggan down? It sounds fast. I'm not fast and furious. But it had a brake, so you could go down at your own speed, and he could tell, little old lady, let's give her a long gap. And there were some nice kids behind who just went slow behind me, and then they were very sweet.
I was at the bottom waiting to film her coming down for about 20 minutes.
Do these things at your own pace, but at least I did it. And then we went to the chocolate museum.
Cool. Yes, the chocolate museum, which was actually really good. There was a couple who translated a little bit for us.
They were from Buenos Aires, so Argentinian, who helped us with what we...
Helped us a little bit, but actually the tour was in Spanish, but you could, very well done, and you could follow along pretty easily. And it was actually really...
lots of information to read, but we just about had the Spanish, and there was children in there, so it was quite simple Spanish. We think we got the gist of it.
Yeah, it was good.
And then really they gave you some hot chocolate, which I loved, because I'm getting used to my free hot chocolate.
She had mine as well, strange enough.
Best thing about travelling with a vegan, you get to have theirs too.
So we did that, and then we realised that the basically as part of the offer, you got to buy the value of the chocolate as part of the ticket.
I can't remember, it was 4,000 each or 8,000 each.
I think it was 4,000 each.
Yeah.
It's only 4,000 each, but you got 4,000 as part of the ticket. You got 4,000
back in going to the shop.
Pesos back going to the shop. So, and even better, they had vegan chocolate. So I had some vegan chocolate, and we sat and had a little nibble.
Yeah, we had a little wait, so we spent the money before we actually did the tour, but that was a really good use of time, and everyone was so friendly and really nice.
I tell you what,
they had loose.
That was incredibly good value. Like just enough chocolate to really enjoy.
I had left lasted me for days.
Yeah, it was lovely.
It was really lovely. So that was such a surprise. I really recommend the chocolate museum.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And then we wandered back into town to go and find some dinner. We actually passed a couple of vegan restaurants, but they didn't look like they had much atmosphere.
Yeah, it might have been it was a little bit early, but we found one on, I can't remember the name of the main road, but it was on the main road, and it was called Friends, so that sounds pretty cool. And there was just some nice seating in the streets, so you can see us there diving into these veggie burgers, which are vegan as well. Yeah. So we both had one of those each, which was delicious. Yeah,
nice atmosphere, and then they
an impromptu dance moment.
Yeah,
I could never resist.
They started playing Sharon's favourite song, "Meet Me at the
it brings back happy memories of work.
Yeah. and all the waiters started dancing inside, and so Sharon went to go and film them, and she was dragged into the dancing.
So you kind of see my camera, and then it all goes down because I had it on my neck. And yeah, well, he wanted to dance with me, so what was I going to do? Say, no, I want to film you.
Yeah.
So that was quite fun, and special moments that you
So
just
yeah,
can't.
completely
can't
unplanned, spontaneous, made the whole night really. So that was fantastic. And then we
Windy.
yeah, and then we went back to the hotel, had a good sleep, and set off early in the morning for the famous Seven Lakes Drive, which is a road trip through the Lake District. Takes you to seven of their famous
Yeah, I think
lakes.
there seemed to be about 8, but they named 8. 7 were the ones that were labelled. So yeah, you started going up to Villa Astora, very well signposted, very touristy, but a nice little place. Had a little tourist information as well, so we were all mapped up again. And then, well, actually you downloaded it, didn't you? Got to download it, but that was still useful, so I could navigate and you could drive.
Yeah.
It probably was further than we thought it would be, and took longer. But there was a nice break in between, where we had a packed lunch there.
At Villa Langostura, where I'm sure I'm mangling that.
Yeah,
but
there's another national park.
Yeah.
But we just wandered to the beach side, and I could see that those bambi trees that people have told me about before, I can't remember what they're called, you could see them there. So we just sort of wandered round, kept to the beach side, saw lots and lots and lots of those bambi trees in the end. So you don't have to go. I think if you walk further, you get like the really beautiful view of them, which we obviously didn't, because one, we didn't have time, and two, we by walking around that way, we didn't pay the entrance fee or anything. We just walked around.
So we just had lunch on the beach, and
really
then set off again.
Yeah, we spent some time just enjoying the beach, really, didn't we?
And the drive was amazing. We stopped very frequently to take pictures, and
there's lots of little videos that we took of each
we got
one.
stopped actually a couple of times at police checkpoints. Particularly on the way back, they were very keen to make sure that my lights were on, even though it was only about 5 o'clock, which is kind of interesting. But one of the things that was definitely worth being aware of is that you need to have all your paperwork on you, so that you need to be able to.
When we picked it up, had explained that really well to you, didn't they? That's
they
what
did.
we had to do. So the car worked really well. Recommend Fit for car hire.
And we drove all the way to San Martin de los Andes, which is a charming little lakeside town where Sharon had one mission: to find ice cream.
Yeah, it's a coastal town. You thought there would be ice cream, but there really wasn't. But never mind, we drove back, and then that was it, got ready, because the next day we were flying to Costadas, and that will be our next video. How about that? Did you want to add anything else? It's got a bit noisy here.
Yeah, I think Bariloche completely exceeded our expectations. Thought it was going to be sort of scenic, etc., but actually we had loads of fun, and had some really great unplanned moments.
Definitely worth doing Bariloche, and I kind of recommend our hotel if you're willing to.
Yeah, just because of the value for money.
Yeah,
just much better value for money.
And they would they didn't have kettles in the room, but they would make you hot water. If you wanted to bring your own tea bags, they would heat food in the microwave. I had some leftovers from the other day that they happily heated. Sometimes it's not about mod cons, it's about the atmosphere and the people in it. So recommend Bariloche, and then we'll do our next video on our trip to Costadas and then to Encarnacion for Carnival.